guys, it's David with Preps Life. I'm here today to discuss stock market investing and the best apps out there that would be suitable for a novice investor. Mainly those who are into prepping but don't know a whole lot about the stock markets and the apps that you can use to invest. This isn't really going to be like an advanced video on how to trade or anything like that. This is just kind of like the basics and my recommendations on the apps that you can use to invest. And investing itself within the prepping world is kind of an overlooked topic for the most part. I think that's mainly just because when you think of prepping, you're thinking of like a end of the world situation, off the grid. You're not really thinking of investments and money in stock market, stuff like that. You're just not thinking it. But, prepping is kind of like planning for the eventual, demise of society or whatever you think, an end of the world scenario would be. And for me, it is a part of my prepping to invest and to accumulate, money from those investments to eventually have better preps overall from said investments. So that's why I do it myself personally. And I know others could have other reasons, but so onto the apps themselves. There's different apps out there, small to large brokerages. My favorite for the novice investor would be Robinhood. And I know some might talk bad about Robinhood in certain ways just because it has a certain reputation online with more advanced traders and investors that are more seasoned. And that's understandable, and there are issues with it for people that are in those positions. But for the novice, it's a perfectly fine app. It's perfectly legit across the board. I've been using it myself since early 2017, so basically 3 years, and I have not really had any problems with it at all. Even on a trading basis, I've hardly had any issue at all. And on the investment side, it's very easy to use. That's why I probably like it the most. I guess I can just say pros, cons. Pros are the ease of use. It's got a very easy to understand interface, and they kind of explain or spell everything out for you as you're going through the app and making a potential investment. It's even got like a little news feed per stock that you might invest in. It's a very clean app in terms of its overall look and feel, and that's just what makes it so easy to use. And those are probably the biggest, most significant reasons I like it. And some of the abilities to just swipe and order is such a great thing versus, the old traditional of, clicking a mouse to order something. But on the con side, there's a few. And like I say, a lot of these have to do with more seasoned investors and traders. It's slow execution times. That's not a problem for investments, usually only for traders. But the biggest would probably be their customer service, and it's hard to get a hold of them. Typically, most of the time you have to email, and I know that's a problem for most people. You want to get a hold of someone by phone, and it's really hard. And even email can be pretty slow unless you're a gold member. But a gold member is a paying member on the app itself. And typically, my experience in being a gold member, which I think it's anywhere from like $5 and up per month. The basic lowest tier is like $5 a month, I think, somewhere around there. And but if you are a gold member, you're going to get a response by email within an hour. The most I think I've ever waited myself was like a day. And I've never had to call in since I just never have had to. That's probably it with the cons of the app itself. But overall, I've had a good experience with it, and that's why I recommend it as my top app for novice investors, especially on someone that just doesn't have that great of computer skills or app skills, it's just so easy to use. I would recommend it the most. The next would probably be WeBull. It's kind of a newer app on the scene. It's similar to Robinhood. It's a little more advanced, so it's not as easy to use, but it's free like Robinhood. Although most brokerages now have gone to a free tiered system, so that's not as prevalent as it once was. But WeBull is also another app. They probably have more perks. Along with Robinhood, you get a free stock when you join, but WeBull takes it a bit further. They actually go and they give you additional uh, free stocks. If I think you get a free stock on joining, then you get a free stock on your first deposit, and I think you even have a chance to get another free stock after that, maybe off another deposit. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly, but I know you also get, just like Robinhood, you get a free stock for referring people as well. So that's always pretty cool. So another, I guess you could say I could shift to actually, yeah, shifting to TD Ameritrade, the largest broker out there. If you want a reputable broker, that would be the route to go. The only problem is TD Ameritrade, their app itself and their website are much more advanced. You have a lot of resources to look through and invest. Robinhood and WeBull have resources, but nothing like TD Ameritrade has. Nothing, it's just such a significant thing. I would say their pros are their resources you can research to invest, the amount of options in investing you have in funds and 401ks and everything that the other two apps don't have. TD Ameritrade has, and yeah, it's probably one of the biggest brokers overall, and the other pros would just be the execution times and everything to do with that. But like I say, that's not really for the novice to worry about. And their customer service is impeccable. You call, you get an answer right away. You email, it's probably going to be anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 hours maybe to get a response is my guess. The one time I had to email them. The cons would be the ease of use isn't really there with TD Ameritrade. The app itself is very advanced. It's hard to get around. It's just not easy. There is a learning curve you're going to have to go through. Even on the website, it's just there's a lot higher cliff to climb in terms of learning the app and the website. Next app would be TastyWorks. It's a more established app, just like TD Ameritrade is. The ease of use isn't there like Robinhood and WeBull and others, but it is a very advanced app in terms of trading. That's what I use to trade mainly. I'd say the one perk with it is it's established. You have great customer support, probably the fastest that you would have. You can make normal investments with it within the app. It's maybe a little bit easier to use than the TD Ameritrade app, but kind of in the middle between TD Ameritrade and Robinhood. The cons with it, it's hard to really name an exact con other than they're probably a little bit smaller than TD Ameritrade. Like I say, they're kind of the middle ground. That would be TastyWorks. Next app on the list would be the Square app. This is actually very similar to Robinhood, but a bit more basic. I say similar because of the ease of use of Square. It's, one could argue, almost too simplistic, but maybe that's a good thing for a very novice investor just starting out. And their investing component is very new right now. It just came out, but yeah, the pros would be easy to use. It has the ability to send money between people. It's kind of like PayPal or Venmo. So it's a little bit different than some of the other apps. You can actually receive and send money. So that's a great perk. Another great perk is that you can buy and sell cryptocurrency, mainly BTC. I can't remember if it has other cryptos, but I'm pretty sure it's just BTC. You can actually receive BTC into a wallet and cash that out as money. So there's a number of great uses for it. The downside is you probably are going to be very limited in terms of the stocks you can invest in. those stocks would be mainly blue chip stocks, just some of the larger, well-known names, and it might be the most limited in terms of them all, in terms of investment options. But if you want something very easy to use, it also has a component to where you can receive and send money. Square is definitely a great app to go for. And right now, I do know that it comes with a $5 bonus if you sign up. So yeah, Square, that's a good one. The next app on the list would be Stash. Stash is an investment app, which it's a bit limited in that the stocks you can invest in are only around, I guess, 400 or so. So you're not, I guess, not, you know, exposed to the overall markets like you would on the other apps that I mentioned. It does have something cool in an online banking component, which is pretty neat. If you want to basically invest your paycheck right away, you can just have it deposited. It gets automatically invested in terms of how you set it up. So it also does fractional shares, which means if you have an Amazon that's worth $2,000 a share, you can go and get maybe 10% of that if that's all the money you have to invest in an Amazon. And cons, it's kind of a new app, a bit lesser known, so you're going to have to deal with that aspect of it. Yeah. Another app would be M1 Finance. Kind of similar to Stash, you have the fractional share investment, which is really cool. Their interface is nice. I really like how they have a lot of visualization components, like with pie charts and graphs and things like that, that will really let you see the breakdown of your investments. And you can even divvy them up in terms of like, oh, what healthcare am I invested in? Or what retail stocks or what technology am I invested in? And that's a really cool feature, I think, that M1 Finance has. Con of M1 Finance would be that they're lesser known. They're not as reputable. They're not like a big broker like TD Ameritrade. The support isn't going to be there as much. So, yeah, those are pretty much the main apps that I know of that I would recommend. I mean, I know of more apps than that, but those are the apps that are, the ones that if you're looking to invest, those are the good starting, apps for anyone, I would say. Yeah, I mean, another thing that I forgot to mention with both TD Ameritrade and Robinhood, they both offer credit debit cards, or debit credit cards, pardon me, that would be linked to the account. And any money you have in that account, you can spend with that debit card, which is really cool. I know for Robinhood, that's a new thing for them. And it's actually pretty limited right now. I was one of the early people to sign up for it, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I know TD Ameritrade has offered that for quite a while. They actually TD Ameritrade, I think theirs is actually a credit card, so you get points and things like that, which is really cool too because you get significant benefits off of spending that go back into your investments on TD Ameritrade. So that's actually another perk of them too. But like I say, TD Ameritrade, really advanced, but it's the most reputable, most secure. They're not going to go to business like maybe some of these others would more easily. So overall, if I had to choose, I would say Robinhood for the most novice investor that is just starting out and wants something simplistic and easy to use on their phone. For someone that wants something more reputable and someone you can get to on the phone right away, and maybe you have some assistance in getting into and making investments, I would say TD Ameritrade. And yeah, that's pretty much my list of all the stocks or stock apps and sites that are out there for preppers to invest in. And I will also include some links below to each of these apps for you guys to click on, and some of them offer free shares, so definitely take advantage of that. That is a huge thing, especially for like Robinhood and WeBull, and maybe some of the others too. I think might offer like monetary compensation, like $5 if you sign up or something of that nature. And then you can tell your friends and get your own free stock as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, be sure to check that out. And if you have any comments or questions, let me know in the section below. All right, thanks guys.